Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning with Faith. My name is Isleth Stutz. I'm also known as Isleth Celadon, but I got married. This Friday will be 2 years that we've been married. Me and my husband, we love what we do, and we'll get to what everything that he does. But today, this special episode isn't really about me or him. It's about poetry, honestly. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear these two amazing poets, these two amazing people. Like, I'm super excited for to do this episode just because throughout the year we've been working together, and there's just nothing like a poet meeting another poet, because like I've always like kind of felt like, oh, okay, I guess I'm that weird person that just loves writing their feelings. And so it's very like-minded people when you meet like another poet. And so I love that about them. And so I already had met them and I didn't know that about them. Well, I knew about Raul because of his book that I still remember reading in the sky while I was like flying home. But from Daniel Gomez's conference. So shout out to Daniel Gomez because I think that's how we all three met. Because I remember in Clubhouse, that's where I met Dr. Gigi Sabbat. And it was in Daniel Gomez's room back when Clubhouse was still popular. And then I got to meet Raul Marin. I got to meet him at a Daniel Gomez The Makings of a Millionaire Mind. And so I love it whenever you get to meet such amazing individuals and you can reconnect and still stay in touch. Because if you're networking out there and you're not making those connections, then you're not doing what networking events are about. So I'm very excited to, present to you guys and have you guys. Dr. Gigi Sabat has been on the podcast before, the Learning with Faith podcast, and if I think Raul was also part of Moving Mountains for You, which was the very first English podcast. But now we rebranded and it's called Learning with Faith. And so I'm very excited to have him on this one because we are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and a few other platforms as well. And if you see to the left of me, then that's Transcending La Familia, which is the Spanglish podcast that we produce. And so, me and my husband, we love doing what we do, but I definitely wanted to pass the mic, how they say, or the virtual mic in this, to definitely to Dr. Gigi Sabat. You guys have heard about her on this podcast. And so I definitely wanted to, pass it to her so that she can kind of tell you a little bit about the poetry competition and the World Women's and Awards Florida chapter.
Thank you so much, Islith, for the amazing introduction. And as you mentioned, right, we know ourselves and we know ourselves to be a poet, but then when you meet another poet, it's a beautiful thing. It's absolutely wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have met other poets. And now us coming together and then hosting a poetry competition. I mean, wow, absolutely phenomenal. And not only a poetry competition, now we literally have just let go and let God and now are working on a collaborative poetry book. Absolutely amazing. I mean, with 30 authors, 30 poets, incredible. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. I'm
It's
just really grateful.
definitely, yeah, it's definitely like a God thing because honestly, and like I shared with both of you, I've been wanting to have some kind of like every year book. And I thought because me and my husband are ordained ministers and we're very faith-oriented people, I thought that it was supposed to be a devotional book. But God didn't want that because he knew that I loved poetry way more than devotionals, which I love writing devotionals. And we have two bestsellers with Faith Moves. But I love poetry. So the fact that, World Women's Conference and Awards, like Ragnar Sinikas, she allows us to do these, conferences and, with people from all over the world. I think whenever we collaborate, the content that we create, not only is it educational, but I feel like it's really healing for a lot of people too. And in reality, the kind of poetry and the kind of people that we meet, there's words that heal people that they need to hear. And so if you're out there and you're a poet, you want to be in next year's competition, or even if you want to be in the poetry book, I think we have a few, not very many spots left. So definitely reach out to us. But Raul, tell us a little bit about what intrigued you, or whenever I asked you if you wanted to be part of like a judge, like why did you say yes to us?
Well, shout out to all the poets, all the artists, all of the people who had just speak our language, which is to just have so much power in expression, which obviously is our collaboration here, explosion of expression. And anytime somebody gives me or I should say invites me to an opportunity to take part in some kind of explosion of expression, I always say yes because those are my people. I think about all of the poets before us. The Maya Angelou's, the Robert Langdons, the Langston Hughes. Like they didn't just take off with poetry just for nothing. Like so we're kind of like that. I don't know, second, third, fourth, or fifth tier generation of poets, right? That are now leading our efforts to make sure that poetry is still alive and vibrant today. I feel like we need it more than ever, and here we are, really spearheading this poetic explosion of expression movement, which I'm just excited to be a part of, and I would love to do it as long as I can, as long as I'm here. Why not?
I mean, I think, and he mentions that explosion of expression. That's the title of our upcoming book. It's going to be released Black Friday this year, and so we have a QR code if you want to pre-order it already. We have a lot of amazing poets and a lot of amazing words that not only are going to heal you in a way, but they're going to touch you because that's what poetry does. Everyone gets something like different from what they read. It's kind of like the Bible a little bit. Like you whenever you read a Bible verse, some people look at it in one way and some people look at it the other. And that's what I love about poetry is that one poem can speak so many different things to every single person that reads it. And so I that's what I just love about poetry. And I've been a published poet since I don't know 2013. So like it's just it's been such a joy to be able to continue writing and continue and if you're out there and you don't know how to write poetry, just write your feelings down. Honestly, that's a good start. Write how you feel, how a lot of my poems, they start out as prayers, honestly. They start out as me crying out to God or me not knowing how I'm feeling. And so for me, it's kind of easy to rhyme, especially in Spanish, which Raul can understand.
Mhm.
Because in Spanish, the ER, the AR words, you can easily like come up with those words. It's a little bit harder in English to rhyme for me, but in Spanish, I'm very, very good at rhyming. Uh, which all poetry, I mean, you don't have to rhyme to consider it poetry. There's a lot of amazing poems that I've read and they don't rhyme. And so, if you're out there and you're a poet and you're probably, oh, I don't know if this is good enough. Send it to us regardless. You don't know, like a lot of people, they're their worst critic. Gigi, wouldn't you agree? Or what is your
Absolutely.
experience?
Yes, don't be so hard on yourself and just right, like Isis was saying, right? AKA Sashi Ice Queen. Uh, so important to really just let go, let him just write. And I remember, oh my goodness, just recently with the current poem, that was the longest time it took me to write a poem, the one I just shared just recently. And I'm glad that I took the time with it and that I just wrote what was on my heart, literally. Uh, so just let it be what it is. Just sit there with the paper and the pen and just write. And another one before that, another poem. I remember just being near the water, near the beach, and wow, just listening to sometimes I have the instrumentals in my ear. I like to listen to the instrumentals as I'm writing my poetry and my poems, so to speak. And just hearing the water in the back end, it's just in the view, the nature. So I just love it. And like I said earlier as well, it's such an honor to meet other poets from all over the world and also in my local area, Palm Coast. Oh my goodness. Wow, my hometown. look at God. And actually, some of the folks in my hometown are actually co-authors of the book that we're coming out with here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a few friends that are, I'm on TikTok, so all my TikTok friends that you know who you are, I already added you to the list. I've been getting a lot of my TikTok people interested in this book, and they've already submitted. Some of them have submitted their poems already to me, and some of them they're actually songwriters. So if you're a songwriter out there and you want to turn your song into a poem, it's very easy to do. And so if you need kind of like a little bit of help, send it to me. I could definitely help, turn your song into a poem because I know there's so many music artists out there. Both me and my husband just recently became music, songwriters. So we're technically on 26 plus platforms now. And so
Nice. We actually had a few artists on our second annual global poetry competition, and the winner, Narika Thomas, right? Miss Reek.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, and Lorinda XO, she was our poet that won. So
yes.
this year was a little different than last year. Last year
We
we
had
had
two winners, right? One for the
yeah,
poem, one for the one as the artist.
yeah.
Yes.
So it was a really cool like, just it was really cool. My husband was one of the contestants, but his song couldn't be played, so he was out of luck. But that's all right. He's very, very much involved in all the podcasting and all the events that we do. Even if you don't always see him, I'm always talking about it to him, and he's like giving me ideas, and now he's just peeking in the door over here.
Hi, John.
Hello, friend.
Hey, friend.
Hello to the monarch.
He does that because I share motivational quotes, and I started off with "Hey, friend," so you
Yeah.
probably see it circulating around.
Yeah, so that's why we always have that like inside joke between my husband and
That
Gigi.
extremely just hurt me right now, but I still
What?
wanted to.
Oh yeah, so he's having a little bit of a toothache. So he said even though he just yelled that to you, it hurt him a little bit, but it's okay, you're
Oh,
worth it.
Uh,
He said goodbye, friend.
goodbye, friend.
But yeah, he always reminds me all the time because that's the one thing that he's like, how does she have all that energy and all of those videos
He
on?
always tells me that. He says, "How do you have all that energy?" Yeah.
I just want to ask for y'all just know I'm like Santa Claus, okay? I know when you're talking about me and when you're sleeping, okay? So just remember.
Uh,
You sleep.
so yeah, like you said, he is a stand-up comedian here locally in Little Rock. So he's done shows in the Rail Yard, the Joint, which is now called Birdies. And so he is a stand-up comedian. He loves the spotlight. I'm sure Gigi knows. He just
Yes.
loves talking. And
We
so
hope to have him join us at the third annual Global Poetry Competition. I know he was a part of the third annual Global Warriors Conference in Palm Coast, so hopefully he can join us for the third annual poetry competition.
oh yeah, speaking of the Global Warrior Conference, like listen, this Global Warrior Conference, it was like really, really different. You know why? Because it was in person. And so
Yes.
like so much virtual content that we do, and then we finally, after I think what, 4 years, we finally met in person. And so,
Yes.
like, it was like such a special moment for both me and my husband, just because honestly, Gigi, you're one of the closest friends that we have.
Oh,
Just because you've been with us since the beginning as a couple. And so I think whenever we met you, it was all divine timing, honestly, because we went to visit his grandpa. We actually took a 70-year-old Bible to your event. Uh,
wow.
and so we wouldn't have had that if it would have been the year before because we didn't have plans to see his grandfather. And so we first went to North Carolina, went to his grandpa's house, and his grandpa's 90. He's still strong. So I'm telling him, hey, you're almost a centurion, you could do it. Like, and so I'm like, you gotta hold on just as like we're trying to have a baby at the end of the year, so just hold on. But it was pretty awesome that, we got to take that 70-year-old Bible to your event. And that's honestly why he was so pumped up in his speech for your event, because he had just spent all that, that time with family, and then it went to like, his business mind, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to speak. And so like, and I definitely wanted to shout out. Hola, Caterina. I definitely wanted to shout out Ken Jocelyn because he's really close with my husband, and he called us the night before, and John was feeling a little bit, nervous, because he wasn't really sure what he was supposed to talk about. He knew the topics, but
He
I'm
did amazing and he made us laugh.
he,
Yes, he's a
well, I
comedian.
didn't get
Isn't
to
he a
tell him.
comedian?
He is a stand-up comedian. Yeah, so like that, I think that's why he's such a good public speaker, and that's why he's the director, the community director of Learning Idiom here in Arkansas, because he does so well with the community, with people, because he makes people laugh all the time. So like, having that joy, I think is, it's even a Bible verse, the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so it's been a very constant thing in our relationship, but also in our family to just maintain that joy. And so if you think about, all of the people that, they don't have joy in their life, they don't have that. And so to me, whenever, we get to have these, stand-up comedian shows, we have a bunch of comedians. It's not just him. And so, hopefully, maybe one day soon, when we're in Palm Coast, he'll put on a show for you guys, with his
We would love that. We would love that in Palm Coast. And not just that, we also then had a barbecue after the Warriors conference as
Yep.
well.
It
Yeah.
was nice. We got to meet Cherie. She's amazing. And so it was really cool. Just like, even though we were only there for like I think a day and a half, it was really, really refreshing. And it's not the kind of refreshing where you're on vacation. It's the kind of like your soul gets refreshed. And so I think these types of events, even when they're in person, you get that, not only do you get that refilling of inspiration from all of these amazing business owners and speakers and people that are around you, but you also get that faith-oriented kind of like church service feeling, because all of these people are faith-oriented people. Not all of them say that in their speech, but you can just tell. You can feel it in the room. You could feel it even whenever we do these broadcasts and we do these episodes. You definitely can feel the spirit, and so that's the reason why continue, and we will continue to, partner with Gigi and also, Ragnar Sinikis, because we have that underlining, faith, and so
Yes.
I think I'm very, very grateful that we're still continuing to do that. I know Raul is probably new to all of this still, which I'm sure with CLA you've done it, but I'm glad that you're doing more events with us because he was also part of the marriage conference. So Raul, tell us a little bit about your experience in the marriage conference.
Oh, it was incredible. If marriage, especially for me, I'm quickly approaching 2 years as well. And how life-changing marriage has been, not just for me, but obviously for you guys, even though we're still new to this experience of being husband or wife, that it's refreshing. It's a beautiful feeling to be in the room with, no matter how long people have been married, there's always a nugget that you can take away from it because it's a journey. It's a daily journey. And what a blessing to wake up next to your life partner.
Yeah.
How complete you feel. Like, I don't know about you, but the fact that if I reach my hand over and she's still there in the morning, like, I feel like, okay, I'm at peace. I can wake up now.
That's funny that you say
And
that.
there's just
My
so many
husband tells
beautiful
me,
things.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned that because my husband definitely tells me he's like, he's been, of course, he had girlfriends before me, and he's like, I've never met a woman that just with me or me hugging her or her touching my head or whatever, I felt instant peace. I've never felt that before. And so
Yes.
like whenever you said that, that reminds me of what he tells me because I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, as a girl, you're like, okay, I guess that's a good thing, but for me, honestly, I feel like it's I mean, it is the spirit of the Lord that is one of the, fruits of the spirit. But I do feel like my Jewish lineage has something to do with that too. I think because even when we're saying hello, shalom, we're saying peace be with you. And so I
Yes.
feel like in my lineage, we have that, underlining peace that God gives us, honestly, because of that's how we talk in Hebrew. Peace be with you. And that's how we say hello and goodbye. Peace be with you. So it's kind of like a whenever I feel a little bit, just I'm in my feelings, like they say, I like to sing my Jewish song that it literally says, blessed be the one that comes in the name of the Lord, but it's in Hebrew. And so there's just something about the language that it brings me like really, really like centers myself. And so I like calm down, and it's because as most poets know, we're very emotional creatures. We just don't always know how to express them. And that was my journey as a poet is I started writing poetry because I didn't know how to feel about my son having autism. And so I started my poetry journey while I was in college, but also while I was still a new mom, and I didn't I had all these feelings because I didn't know like what about autism. And I definitely wanted to mention that because it's still April, and so it is Autism Awareness Month. And so if you're out there and you have autism, I definitely want to give you a virtual hug. And so we always like to, do autism awareness episodes. But yeah, I had so many feelings, and I didn't know what to do with them. And so I just started writing and writing and writing. And eventually that led to my first book, bilingual book, that was English and Spanish poems. And so that book, I still get calls. Still get calls that they want to do a movie with it. Like, and I'm like, okay, sometimes, you do have to invest in things, but it was all those emotions that God allowed me to express through writing. And so when people read, sometimes when they read my poems, they tell me, "Oh, I've cried. Oh, you've moved something in me." And it's because I truly believe that when you share your pain and your sorrow with someone on a paper, it moves them. And Gigi, what's your experience when people have read your poems?
Well, here's the thing. So I remember when I first shared, it was on a college campus. They had like a poetry slam, one of those type of things. I said, all right, so I'm going to share a poem here on a college campus, Broward College, to be a little bit more specific. Uh, and I remember getting out there in the mic and I was like, all right, this is new. And I did it anyway. I stepped in and because here it is, like you said, you're writing your emotions now on paper and then actually sharing it out. So, I mean, it's just, but then I think that with time too, right? Because we grow. And so now, having had the second poetry competition, right, and the first annual poetry competition, and sharing on those platforms as well, there's been a lot of growth since, the first time I shared a poem out there, and now. So I can definitely see a huge difference as well, and just the ability and how I express it as well. So I think that there's always room for improvement, right? Progression, not perfection. And I just love just again sharing what's on my heart, and again taking it from paper, from heart paper to then verbal and sharing it and expressing it, uh, and just keeping it real. KIR, right? I say keep it real. If you're going to share something, keep it real. And I mean that in a genuine way. So there's no sugarcoating with my poetry. I'm going to tell you like it is with my poetry. So, and that's simple. I just love keeping it real. And I know you all do the same because I heard your poems. So just keep going. I know, I heard, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and I love it, and I'm really looking forward to our third annual poetry competition. And Raul, it was such an honor to have you a part of the marriage conference and also to meet you in person as well for our in-person podcast as well that we did. We had an amazing time at Lee's Coffee in Tampa, Florida. The that podcast is now live on the Walk With Me podcast. So if you're listening in, you want to listen into that episode, yeah, highly recommended. Raul. Lots of wisdom there. Very powerful talk, my friend. I appreciate you and grateful for all that you do on the front lines.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned the name of your podcast because that's where all of the conferences get posted. Am I correct? The virtual conferences for the WWCA, they all get posted on your Walk With Me podcast, right?
Correct. And you, Isley, I've had the honor of collaborating with you and your husband now on multiple, all of us collaborated on multiple events and projects. And it has been such an honor to collaborate with the Stutz family. And I've had you all been a part of the Warriors Conference as well. And now we may even be doing the gala, right? We are doing the gala in Arkansas.
Already set in stone, like literally,
And
yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
So
it. Let's go.
October, the end of October, we'll give the dates and everything and the location. You know, hey, fire, um, you're beautiful too. I'm on TikTok, everyone. So, I like to definitely say hello to my TikTok family.
All
Um,
of you are beautiful out there. All of the folks who are listening on TikTok, you are beautiful. Remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
yep, and you know how they say the other saying that says one man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, guess
Exactly.
what? You're God's treasure. So,
Let's
uh,
go.
yeah. But for sure, like I think this gala that we're about to do, it's gonna be so amazing because and this was a God thing because I told Gigi, I was like, you do those global warrior conferences and you already had it planned for that one day. And I was like, if you do like one day of that and then one day in the gala, um, and we're in the middle of the United States, more people would probably attend because we're in the middle, so they could easily drive. And so we definitely are excited, you know, because I know a lot of people from Texas would come. It's only like we're 5 hours from Dallas. You know, Arkansas is a very close to, you know, St. Louis is really close. Memphis is 2 hours away. Like we're really, really close to a lot of major cities. And so I'm very, very excited about this gala that we're going to have here in Little Rock in the end of October. And we're also doing it in my brother-in-law's honor because he passed away. Um, it will be a year, and so we're doing it. We're naming this gala after him, Mason. And so we're very, very excited. My husband's family is very excited because we already told them, you know, that we're naming the this first one in his honor. We lost him with due to suicide. So I'm sure Gigi remembers or could remember his Global Warrior Conference speech when he spoke about it.
Spoke
And
on suicide. Yes.
yeah, and so like I remember there's that like silence of like reverence whenever he opened his vest and he showed the suicide awareness shirt. Like I could just feel that like silence of like, whoa, you know, and so I think, you know, suicide awareness is so important to us, not only because of his brother and not only because of my brother-in-law passing, but also because, you know, being part of life in general, it's hard. It's a daily struggle, but you have to have that mindset of like you have a purpose in your life, and the reason why you woke up is because God wanted you to wake up. And so that's something that like both me and my husband are very passionate about now because we've seen how damaging it can be to families when we lose people like that. And so he's going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about autism just because my son's autistic, which, by the way, your Global Warrior Conference was his first speaking engagement. He went from having speech therapy to having a speaking engagement. And so I'm just so proud of him because I've been praying for this. And my mom even, she cried on the phone with me when I sent him that picture of him on his, you know, in the podium. And she told me she cried because she had been praying for like, I don't know, 10 years. He did 10 years of speech therapy. And so he finally graduated I think the year prior before he did the speaking engagement. And so if you're out there and you're an autism mom and you're thinking of giving up on your kids and you don't think that the therapy's helping and all, it's a process. I always tell people it doesn't get any easier, but it does get easier to deal with. And so I'm just so proud of my son and his progress. And he also has his fourth book, you know, coming up. I'm super excited for him. His goal is to publish 8 books by the time that he's 18, and he by the end of the year he'll have 6 out of the 8. So I told him if you do it before high school, then you can focus on your, GPA and everything. So he's trying his best, and I'm pretty sure by the next year he'll complete it. But Raul, tell us a little bit about what your wife does. I just saw that she's trying to, she's going to be a life coach. Talk to us a little bit about your wife.
She is extremely talented, not just in the kitchen, but in life. She as well, for those who don't know, I have the blessing that she is both an amazing cook and baker. Usually you get one other. She does both. And so now she's in a season where she'd like to serve those women who maybe they didn't quite get brought up with kitchen confidence, so to speak. So maybe they're stepping into marriage feeling a little bit overwhelmed as to, well, I don't, I'd like to prepare a really nice meal for my husband, but I've never done it before. How, we're like, where do I start? How do I prep the vegetables? How do I season the meat? How do I present this plate so that it looks amazing? And there's just so many things. I mean, I'm learning as I go, because I do the dishes, right? But I'm learning so many tips from her, and so I know that there's both women and men because now you have men who love to be in the kitchen and prepare for their wives as well. So it's a really great experience that she's preparing behind the scenes now to really equip fiancés and anybody who really wants to boost their kitchen confidence in their marriage.
Oh, that's amazing because, I'm a Latina and we love cooking. Let me tell you. I mean, there's few out there that don't like cooking, but I'm one of the ones that I love cooking. I love cooking for my family. I like knowing that they have a healthy homemade meal. And if I have to cook breakfast and lunch at the same time, that's fine.
Yep, yep.
We live very busy lives. But at least I know that my son and my husband at least have that home. There's nothing like a homemade meal, and especially if you know how to cook. So that's awesome that she gets to, teach people, how to have confidence in the kitchen. I think that's very, very important. Maybe that'll be a podcast you guys can do, confidence in the kitchen.
Yeah,
And I,
yeah.
I know that, she loves baking. And so I always see all of her things. And whenever I saw that she was getting her life coach certification, I was like, oh, that's so perfect for her. So definitely very excited for her. Tell us a little bit about CLA because CLA is also has been one of our sponsors for Learning Idiom. So tell us a little bit about CLA. I know you and Jose Escobar go back. So tell us a little about CLA.
We go back many, many years because our what most people don't know is that his mom and my mom were were hand in hand in entrepreneurship as well. So who would have thought that their sons would now collaborate in the journey of what entrepreneurship is as well. So I've known Jose for 35 years, but who's counting?
Wow.
And it was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I really saw that he was motivated, he was inspired, he was really passionate about connecting. He's a great connector in any regard anyway. But he said, what better than to build a community where people who have such gifts, purpose gifts in their lives, correct? Because it's a hub of so many entrepreneurs of so many different backgrounds. And him being the connector that he is, he had that vision. Said, what if there would be just one hub, one community where entrepreneurs, not just in the US, but globally, could just connect via Zoom and learn how they can support one another because as we all know entrepreneurship is not a cakewalk, but if you if you're connected to the right people, right, growth minded people, they will inspire you, they will support you to do what it is that God called on you to do. And Jose is just that kind of leader, and the CLA is just loaded with so many people, not just here in the US, like I said, but globally. I think it's
Yeah,
in
I think
37 countries and
yeah,
counting.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
yeah,
in every single state in the United
yeah,
States, but it's also globally. Like there, I can't remember how many countries you said, 37 countries.
37 and counting.
Well, yeah, I just recently looked at how many members are in there. There's like 600 of us in there. And so I definitely wanted to shout out Yara Ortiz because she was one of our sponsors as well. She does bookkeeping. And so definitely wanted to shout out the CLA fam because just like you, I saw the value of being part of a, vast entrepreneurial group. And that's one thing that I never ever have to kind of like, I'm sure Gigi knows, like when you're a podcaster, you always like to have, quality guests. With CLA people, I never really have to vet them because I already know that they're like amazing leaders in their communities. And so that's
Yes.
one thing that I love about CLAs that anytime I have any of them, on Transcending La Familia, I had Marilyn. She has a nonprofit and she's in Maryland. And she deals with I think it's lupus. She has a nonprofit over there, and so she was on the podcast Transcending La Familia. And so definitely want to shout her out. Nikki Cuesta, she's also has her own little women's little group, and so I definitely want to shout her out. I think the CLA is just it's something that's really, really special, and I'm very, very glad that not only were they a sponsor for us, but I'm also get to be part of the CLA because they're really, honestly, I have not found a group just like that. That
You
it's
know,
like
Iceland,
so
I
vast.
agree 100%. I'm actually going to be a new member. I spoke with Jose. I'm actually going to be a new member. So I'll be joining fairly soon here. And Jose was actually just a guest on my Walk With Me podcast as
I saw
well.
that. I saw that. Yeah. I was like, yay, they were connected because I was like, I wonder if they know each other. And I was like literally about to put us in like a little group chat on Facebook because I'm like, she needs to be in here. Like,
Right. You see, so that would have been the fourth reconnection. You know how many times Jose and I have been connected? Multiple times. And now Raul reconnected us. But there were so many, we had connected so many times before that. And so you would have been the fourth and probably more and more and more, right?
yeah.
But reality,
Rachel
I'm just,
Best, I'm sure Raul knows Rachel Best is also in there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
she's the one who told me about
Rachel spoke at our Warriors conference. Yes.
yes. And so it's like
Yes.
we're all kind of like we don't, it's like Jose has this like I don't know. Like he's like one of those like behind the scenes guy that is just like grouping everyone together, kind of like Daniel Gomez. And so
Yep.
like he's just they just have that ability to just be like, all right, let's just get together. And so I think it's really really cool that both and they're very very similar in that way where they just know how to like put people together and have amazing connections and amazing networking events and things like that. So I'm glad that you're joining the CLA family. Welcome, Gigi.
So I appreciate
Welcome,
that.
Gigi.
And I love what you said, right? That we're all pretty much connected, right? I say the heart, right? You can't change the heart. And Miss Reek, the one that just spoke at our poetry competition, she says that it is character, right? The heart is character. So I'm not even surprised why we're all connected in CLA. So God is good.
Yeah. And yeah, I
Yes.
didn't even know that Raul was in CLA until I joined. And then I was like, hey, I just met you. I was like, and so yeah, it's really cool like that. I don't know. I love the type of, networking events that we do, even if they're virtual, but definitely you're not going to want to miss this gala opportunity. We're going to have amazing, amazing speakers come here. And if we're only having 25 tables, and so if you want to secure your spot, definitely reach out to me or Gigi. I'm not sure if Raul's going to make it, but I hope he does. I know he said he had some kind of hopefully, but we're also going to do one in Oklahoma in December. And so if you can't come to the Arkansas one, we're planning to do a type of a gala over there too for because we're one of the directors of No Learning Idiom is in the Christmas town, Chickasha. And so they do big things with Christmas in that city because it was actually in a movie. And so we're gonna have a gala like close to Christmas time over there, and we're gonna do like a Toys for Tots type of thing. So it's gonna be like a fundraising event, but we are gonna do a gala just to give them that feel over there. So if you can't make it to the gala over here in Arkansas, maybe you can make it over there.
Yes, hopefully he can join us because it's our first in-person gala. I mean, we've done them all online. Mind you, they were supposed to be in person, but COVID happened, right? We started all these events around COVID, and I remember saying, "Okay, God, looks like the events can't happen. Ready to pack the bags?" And he's like, "No, my child, you're going to do them anyway." I said, "Do them anyway with COVID?" And he says, "Online." And so here we are. And so we're gradually just getting back to in-person events. And it's just such an honor. It's a blessing. A lot of emotions come with that because here we are. We've done these events for multiple years. Okay, we're talking 7 years, and now to have all the folks, right? The folks that, and hopefully, the ones that can make it, right? The essentially now coming together. I mean, in one room, like we spoke. I mean, this is going to be quite interesting here. I
Yeah.
mean, this is.
So
And like I
I
said, a
have
lot of
I have
emotions
a
come with that.
Yeah, I have a scheduled meeting with Jose because I want a lot of CLA members there too. So I have a meeting with him soon to see if he can make it because that would be awesome. I haven't even met Jose in person yet because I'm all the way over here in Arkansas, and so like just because I do so much for the community here in Arkansas, I haven't been able our schedules haven't aligned for me to go over there to Maryland yet. So I'm like, you should come here. I do so like, so at one point last year, which I'm not anymore, but last year I was the only Spanish speaking librarian in my county. And so, as you can imagine, I was so busy because, I would have to travel, and things like that. And I'm a big nerd. I love books. I wouldn't be a publisher if I didn't, So, like, it was really cool to, I was a part-time librarian, but I was the only Spanish-speaking librarian in the county. So, I would have to travel from city to city sometimes. And so it was really, really cool to have that experience. But then I moved to the capital just because God led us here. And so I'm very, very excited for this new journey here in Little Rock. And so if you're one of my loyal followers, I'm in Little Rock now, not in Conway, not in Russellville. I'm in Little Rock now. And so being one of the few Spanish speaking business leaders in the state, it keeps me so busy all the time. And I love my immigrant families. I love the work that we get to do here in this state. I always like to say I'm a big fish in a small pond here because here in Arkansas, the literacy rate is about or the people that have higher education here in Arkansas is about 30%. And of that 30%, not very many speak Spanish. And so I definitely want to change that. I know I'm doing my part as much as I can because I always tell people, go to college if you know what you want to go for. If you don't, you should think about it before you get into debt. And so, unless you have a scholarship. And so that's what Learning Idiom is. We're kind of like a virtual vocational academy. So like if you're ever wanting or you need an internship, and here in Arkansas, actually, the governor actually made it a law that if you're in a public school, you can't graduate high school unless you have some community service. Since our nonprofit is part of the Chamber of Commerce, we can provide that for you. And so definitely reach out to me if you have kids that are in high school that need those hours, volunteering hours. If you see right here, here's a QR code. Make sure you just take your phone out. If you're watching on the computer or the TV, because we're on multiple platforms, if you just scan this QR code, we'll fill it out and we'll reach out to you. Um, Also, if you're interested in being in part of these books that we have coming up this year, definitely reach out to us. The poetry book. And the last thing I did want to mention was we're doing this relationship book. And so if you're interested in being part of a relationship book, it doesn't mean just marriage. It means a relationship between you and your mom, you and your dad, you and your uncle, some kind of relationship. It could be a family relationship or it could be a spousal or boyfriend or some kind of relationship that kind of changed who you were and you have some kind of advice from that particular type of relationship. We want to hear about it. We want to hear your story. We want to publish your story. And so our deadlines for that one is September 1st because that's the Jewish year month. And so I wanted to do it the new year of like I wanted the deadline for submissions to be September 1st of this year. And so We're depending on how much editing goes into process, we might release it at the end of the year, or we're thinking in the beginning of the year, New Year's Day. I think that would be pretty special. So that because we do have that Black Friday poetry book that we're very excited to publish. So, but yeah, definitely reach out to us. Like I said, both me and my husband, we love what we get to do. We're bilingual publishers and also wedding officiants. So, shout out to Weddings by Weston. Thank you so much, Pastor Jacques, for allowing us to be your only bilingual officiants. We have a couple of weddings scheduled for next month, and so I'm super, super excited to get into the wedding industry with him just because I love wedding. Who doesn't like weddings? I love weddings.
Exactly.
And so you get to have such a fun time. You get to experience the whole reason why you're there, love. And so, if you're wanting to get married, let us know. My husband was very excited to marry you. I'm sure Gigi knows. Yeah, I mean, he's a talker, but let me tell you, he knows a lot about the word, and he will definitely include that. And that's actually one of his requirements. If you want him to marry you, he's gonna mention the name of Jesus. And if you don't like that, that's that's your choice. There's so many out there that you could hire. But any last words, Gigi?
Yes, I want to encourage you again. We spoke about if you have something that you want to write, just write. Grab the paper, grab the pen or pencil and write. Or if you like to type, type. Just let go and let him. I believe in you. I cannot wait to hear from you. I cannot wait to hear your poem. I believe in you so much. Do not give up. Keep going no matter what. You got this. Keep the faith. Thank you.
And Raul?
Hey, I believe in the power of artistry and expression in every single person that walks this earth. So it doesn't matter if you're a poet, if you're a writer, if you're a songwriter, if you're a rapper, if you're hey, all of you have power of expression in you. So like Gigi said, take that piece of paper, journal it. If you're the type you like to be electronic, hey, use your notes. I use the notes app all the time when I feel like I gotta write something because it's you get that feeling where you're like, man, I gotta write this poem down because I'm feeling it. So
Yeah.
don't doubt the power of your ability to express yourself. Share it with the world because that's what we're meant to do, and we can't wait for you to be part of the explosion of expression coming soon, Black Friday.
Coming soon.
Yes, we're super excited. And, I definitely wanted to thank both of you, not only for your time right now, but for your time this whole year and last year where we were planning all these things. And, I guess trying to have a new wave of artists, just be more confident in their art. I think artists in general, I think they're not as put on display. And I definitely also wanted to shout out Isaac Elguera. He donated one of his paintings to us. And so I would show it, but I think I have pictures, and I'll reshare it. But yeah, he did free lessons. He's an award-winning Latino painter here in Arkansas, and he gave free lessons to about, for 2 months. And so I definitely wanted to shout him out because of his time and dedication he gave to those students. And so if you're an artist out there, learning idiom is always I think because I'm an artist myself, I definitely even the culinary arts like Raul's, wife. That is something that, we're very passionate about, just art in general, because I feel like learning idiom itself is an expression. And so that's the reason why we named it Learning Idiom, because we're learning how to express ourselves. Yes, we,
Yes.
we teach English and Spanish, but it's the way that you express yourself. So in addition to English and Spanish, we also do have, business. We have had business events because we know that in the business world and in the adulting world, how they say, it's very important to learn how to express yourself. And so definitely let us know. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll be in touch. But everyone that's watching, thank you so much for listening to Learning with Faith. Take care, God bless, and peace be with you.